Hello, my name's Nina and welcome to Eat Sleep Ride's first episode.
Hi there, my name's Dani, McKinnon, and this whole episode will be about community and connection.
Hi, my name is Tracy and I'm a volunteer here at Eat Sleep Ride. Bandit is 17 years old. He's just gorgeous. Oh God, Bandit just makes me feel alive again, totally alive. I hadn't ridden for over 20 years. So yeah, the opportunity came to buy him this year, and fortunately, I was fortunate enough to buy him as my own, and it's the best decision I've ever made, isn't it? Yeah, because he's a riding school. He was a riding school pony, so it doesn't have. He has numerous people who ride him. He's a schoolmaster, you know. He's the perfect guy. He's a perfect gentleman. I know you are. This place is my safe place. I don't interact with many people outside of Eat Sleep Ride. I've sort of found my group here. Yeah, I did suffer quite badly over the years with mental health and things like that, you know. But this place is just something else, you know. It really is. It's just a beautiful place to be. Anybody who is struggling with their own mental health, horses are therapy. This place is therapy. Eat Sleep Ride is therapy. You're accepted no matter what your background is, yeah? And that's what I've found. I'm allowed to breathe here, you know? Feel safe, feel free from everyday struggles. If Eat Sleep Ride did not exist, if it went bust or whatever you want to call it, I would not be in a good position with myself, with my mental health especially, because I wouldn't have the people around me, you know, all the surrounding parts of Eat Sleep Ride, and we would have to find somewhere for you to go, you know, which would be difficult, very difficult. All horses are unique. Horses teach us so much. They are a mirror of us, yeah, you know, aren't you? They are, you know, and they teach us so much. Respect, boundaries, manners, you know, yeah. They're all unique, definitely. You've all got a little part of you that we love, yeah. Because I'm so gentle, you know, as a person, not being accepted on the outside world wasn't easy for me. But when I look at him, he just looks at me with love, care. You know, everything, he gives me his all. When I ride him, you know, he just gives me his all. He looks after me, and I give him my all.
So, I suppose going back to even before Eat Sleep Ride and how we came into this situation. So, when I first came back from being down south, I'd done my stage 4, and then I'd set up my freelance business, and along came Nina's mum, Jill. And she was one of my freelance clients through a riding school. But that kind of moved on to her being in every aspect of my life, from loaning horses from where I had horses that I was selling on livery. And then little Nina,
Yeah.
this height, with her
7-year-old.
hair down to her bum.
Yeah.
And her little glasses. Not scared of any pony.
Still not.
Still not. And when Eat Sleep Ride became a concept, I remember chatting through to your mum how it was going to work. I don't know how much you remember of that, because you were so little when I used to come round to the house.
I don't remember much of that.
You just remember coming to the horses.
But I do remember coming up to the business and having it just starting out. I remember putting bales of straw into the barn for the first time.
Yeah.
So we had a big cow barn.
The huge barn,
we had a cow barn.
Yeah.
And we used to have like 4 horses in it at a time. But we had like 2 or 3 straw bales.
Yeah.
I remember trying to spread that out.
We used to roll in it as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because the horses just loved it. And then remember your mum, she used to come every night, every weekend, and she'd help me cleaning it out, making all the signs, designing all the fishes. Essentially, the whole games equipment, because we didn't have any funding for anyone to play games.
I remember sitting at home making the toilet roll stands and all the signs, all the letters for around the arena.
Yeah, and she made all the games pools out of parasol bases and put sand in them.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then those hook things with the fish. And every weekend she was there until Eat Sleep Ride set up, essentially.
Yeah. So we had a riding school going.
So we had a riding school. And Nina and Jill were from Linlithgow. So if you're thinking Linlithgow to wrestling, remember when he did the cones that day? And your mum stopped on the road. You came in with all the traffic cones, and then she felt really bad and she put them all back.
She put them back?
Yeah, because she did.
Oh, yeah.
On the side, because we didn't have any cones for people to weave it right off. So really, I think I had this conception of trying to make riding accessible, and I had this conception of taking on rescue horses because a bit of my background had been in rehab. And that's what your mum had been helping me. And you used to come and ride my rehab horses.
Yes.
So many of them.
Yeah.
Leo, Frankel. And that had been through doing a little bit of work with Sue Dyson, which you've done a little bit now with your Masterton and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
But that was sort of recognising pain behaviours in horses.
Just recognising that the horse isn't naughty, it's not listened to.
Yeah.
That was the main thing for me. And I was like, I'd always go to the horses like Leo and Frankel, who were classed as bit dangerous, very tricky horses, and little me used to just go into their stables and give them carrots and try and teach them to follow me around the stable, and then, but they just weren't listened to. You know?
I think physiology is so difficult, isn't it? Like you've taught me a lot through the Masterton, but it's almost like, you know, a person with really short legs and a long body is probably going to struggle to jump a 10-foot jump. So because of how we breed horses now, there's a real lack of understanding in education on actually like the physiological, like actual shape of the horse. Like
horses' conformation makes a massive difference on how they move, how they can hold themselves, which makes a difference on how they act, how they behave.
And then also people store stuff.
Yeah.
Because we know it's stored within our fascia, so these interconnected tissues. When people hold stuff, the horse has to take that.
Yes.
You know, so there's this, and because it's such a present thing, which you know, it's a sport, so it needs your consistent attention. And we always say to people, don't we, you know, a horse can feel a fly land on them, so they can 100% feel when you're carrying stuff before you get on this horse.
Yeah.
But you were always good because you didn't mind going fast, so it's easier when a horse wants to go forward because you've got something to work with.
It's about letting go of that control.
Letting go of that control. And that was where your mum was. So yeah, Jill was a massive part in, I don't think we'd have ESR without Jill at all. And obviously Nina's come through the ranks with that and brought a massive community with her, with your mum as well. I remember she used to say she'd be away doing her hedgehog studies or bloody filming frogs or whatever she was off doing and reporting back. So yeah, Nina came into my life and was like the origin of Eat Sleep Ride, I would always say is Ben, 50 quid pony.
Best
Jill.
50 quid you'll ever spend.
Best 50 quid I've ever spent.
Yeah.
Jill and Nina and Lucille, who stepped up as a board member. So really that's where it all began, was this tiny little dream. No one knew it was going to turn into such a big spaceship, was it? It was just a rented barn with this pony.
With one pony, one little white pony.
One little white pony.
Full of cheek.
Yeah, with no office.
No office.
And a moldy caravan.
Yeah.
And no quad bike. Remember, I had to pick all the fields by hand.
Yeah.
Where we started. And I'd been taught from a lady named Listy. You never met Listy. But she used to call me a rough diamond that just needed a polish. And I remember I'd say to you, I'd come in and I'd be like, if we were eating in the stables, that's the horses' stables. Let's go and eat in the kitchen. Stop loitering, you're stealing my time. When you're with the horses, you're with the horses. If you want to go and mess about,
do that without the horses.
Without the horses, you know, they need your constant attention. So they were real moments that I learned, I suppose, as my mentor. And then obviously as I've turned into an old lady, Granny Dani, mentored lots of other young people as they've gone along, and our learning together, I feel, has been, I mean, your mum is the reason, but you always knew you were going to be horsey.
Yeah.
And then when school didn't happen, it was
Yeah, I wasn't one for school. It just didn't work for me. It wasn't my place. I knew that. The school knew that. But because of the way the world works, I was stuck there. And there was a lot of communication between you and the school, and things were organised. And I used to come here on a Thursday and a Saturday, but Thursdays I'd get to go out of school to come here and learn. And that was where I started working, though, wasn't it? Well, I was working on the Saturday, but I'd volunteer
working on the Saturday.
And I'd come here and I could focus. I was moving. So I do have ADHD. So for me to think, I have to move.
We're not going to make our funny noises, so it's fine. So when we drive down the road, it's like, sign.
Say what I see.
Say what you see, what you see. See, then I suppose that brings it nicely, isn't it, into the type of people that come here. But I suppose I'd like to know from you, like, I suppose because you came through this through your mum's perspective, like, what do you remember the origins of Eat, Sleep, Ride? Take yourself back.
The origins of Eat, Sleep, Ride. I remember having like 5 horses on this yard. Who we have? Ruby, Bonnie, Ben, Treacle. Was Treacle?
Treacle.
Yeah. And who
Rio?
else?
Was it Rio?
Rio.
But
he came before Treacle.
Yeah, he was before. Well, he had a burst tumour in his anus.
Yeah. We had just a couple ponies. I remember I was scared of Bonnie, first horse to ever kick me. And then I remember I wasn't scared, but I was a bit nervous. And then there was one day that her owner was really scared of her.
Yeah.
And you'd managed to give her a lesson. It went really well.
Yeah.
But she was very nervous the whole time and just so tense that Bonnie was reacting to what was tense on her back, so she was becoming tense.
Yeah.
And then you went, just put Nina up, walk her back to the stables. And I got on her, my stirrups didn't fit, so I didn't have any stirrups. And I just sat there, and that was where I learned just to take a breath. Yeah. Just breathe, what's it matter? And that was when I stopped being nervous of the horses. I stopped, to learn that it's okay to feel that anxiety, but you can just take a breath. Like, you can feel it, but don't try and be like, oh, I'm nervous, I'm scared. Just be like, okay, I accept that. I realize that. I'm a bit nervous. That's all right. Tell the horse that. Yeah. And work with them. Just that
honesty. But you know what it makes, when you said that about Bonnie, like, what was the thing you said last night about your friend with her horse? That quote.
So, it's not so a lot of the time when people buy horses, they'll end up saying, it's not the right horse for me. But it's not that the horse isn't the right horse for you, it's that you're not the right owner for that horse. Yeah. There's a person out there for every horse. Yeah. Whether that horse has found their person or not, that's like the big deal. It's not about if the horse is right for you, are you right for the horse? But I have a friend that added on to that quote, and she said, I wasn't the right owner for my horse. It was that she thought that her horse wasn't the right horse for her, but then she realised that she just wasn't the right owner for her horse, but she's learning to be. Yeah,
it's really lovely, just the change, wasn't it? So I suppose then, so when we think about, and then we came here, obviously, and the open day and the madness of the build, I think that must have been the most insane.
The night before the open day, we're still building everything. We're still setting everything up. And we're realising that horses haven't seen the arena yet.
Haven't even
and
seen
we're
them.
Meant to ride them round in a fancy dancing dressage.
For the Jubilee.
But they haven't been in from the field yet. And we're all just like, horses are going to be crazy. But they were perfect.
Could we? Because the grass was
so long.
We
the grass up to our waists, and the horses are just, when they're lying down, they disappear. You can't see them.
Because we had to move the whole stables, didn't we? And we literally took every bit of wood and bolt, and this took a year to get, and we got the lease, and then 2 weeks later COVID hit, and then Brexit hit, so the costs, and that's probably something that we never massively chatted about, but the costs went from 200,000 to over 500,000, literally in the space of 2 weeks, and then cost of living, and then trying to get planning, and planning was really challenging. Remember things like, I remember saying to you, is like, there was challenges with, even though we're 500 metres away from the nearest house, there was challenges of the smell of the horses. remember the noise of the horses
Yeah.
were some of the complaints that were put in, some of the appeals. So I remember telling you all, and you were going, the noise of the horses were right by the A1.
I know.
It was a funny thing to be annoyed about. So then the build that week, but remember, we had to move all 20 horses in 2 days and then literally take every piece of wood, screw, nail. And I think what was in by that point, there was just stables, wasn't there?
Yes, so we had the main shed that was built, but none of the stables were built. We didn't have any of our drainage systems. That was built by that point.
We had the arena, but that was getting done that week.
The arena was getting done that week.
We took the old surface, remember?
We were still busy building the porta cabin.
Tractor. The porta cabin we knocked into 3 rooms. The road was built. That was literally about it. And then in 5 days, and I think, because I remember the last night here, and I think somebody had to take me away. They did.
Yeah, and then we had to take you to a shower.
There
was no showers here. And we've been living on this yard for about 2 weeks, up until about 2, 3 in the morning, just working.
Building
and building and fixing things and making things and every night for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. And you'd get to go away and have a shower every now and again at someone's house. They'd offer you. But
I lived here, didn't I? I was like Mowgli in the Jungle
here. You're just, yeah.
Never been so dirty. And then they took me away. So I remember sitting up there, and I think I was just crying in a hole in the grounds. And they were like, you need to leave and wash and do things. And then we went to my board member's house, and the bloody shower, there was no hot water. And I had no change of clothes. And one of the girls here was like, oh, I'll lend you, like, a change of clothes. And I remember taking out, because I don't know if we should talk about this, but I just remember Amber, one of the girls, had lent me just a pair of underwear, and she was much smaller than me. So I remember getting out this cold shower and being like, are you for real? And that was, and then just the next morning we were like, and it wasn't actually, no, it was the morning we came in and we were like, we need to bring all these horses in and ride them in front of 150 people, because we didn't even remember. It's like we got them, didn't we? And we were like, goodbye.
Yeah, we brought them here. We were like, let them learn the yard, let them be in the field, learn the place. There's lots of sounds and construction and everything going on here. Don't freak them out by it.
Yeah.
But no, we all, every staff member, every volunteer.
I mean, I've never seen so many people.
Helpers coming from just over in Berwick-upon-Tweed, the next town over, and people just coming to help and help build everything, help get everything together.
And there were like families like going to the old place, but like, to build sandcastles to help with the sand to get it here. I mean, I've never seen, there were people from Edinburgh, there were grannies, grandpas, we had mums making soup, coming in and making sure we were fed. Like, remember Morgan was like our cauldron.
It's one of those points when you just watch a whole community come together to help make this event. And you know what? It was perfect. There's not a single thing I change about that day.
There's not a single thing. I mean, there's about 120 people, I would say, that were involved in that 2-week process of just... Yeah, and it wasn't... There were, like, people bringing their babies. Remember, like, little kids to... I've never seen the diverse mix of people that stepped in, whether it was like... And it was like, I remember Mike, it's just like a funny memory, because I remember him, we hadn't built the shelter, and he's like, I'm a chef, and I was like, well, learn to be a joiner. Everyone within that time had to just change roles. I was like, well, I'm a nurse. Well, today you're not. Today you're a poo picker. You're going to pick ragwort, or you're going to be, plasterer, you're going to feed people, give them coffees. I just literally, but I always remember, don't we? Because obviously when Hugh Head opens, like everything for your mum was there, and then obviously when we came here, that was probably the saddest. But we brought Jill with us because we brought all the stuff.
Yeah.
But we still had the signs.
Yeah.
We still had all of the things we still have the things.
We do. Yeah.
They still never left. So yeah, and I suppose from that, like if I think about the community we've worked with here, I mean, for me, it's like we've had men from payback teams, we've had people with onset dementia, we've had people in wheelchairs, we've had people that don't speak, we've got international visitors, we've got grannies that used to rise when they're younger and it's on a bucket list. We've got girlfriends, we've got people with disabilities, people who are neurodiverse. I mean, there's not really an age group. And when I think about the programs I've been doing recently and some of the consulting work through the leadership programs, they're businesses. And we've had open days here with businesses and CEOs and leaders. I suppose what I'm trying to say is that horses are not just for one type of person. I mean, that's what I've seen. What do you think about the people you've worked with or just been?
I find it incredible watching each horse communicate with different types of people.
Yeah.
You can get a horse that can be incredibly anxious, and a lot of the time if I meet a horse that's anxious, I'd rather not have an anxious person with that horse, because the horse has enough anxiety on its own. It doesn't need an anxious person going in there.
Yeah.
But it's incredible what you can watch a horse do for a human.
Yeah.
You can have someone walk onto this yard, and I've seen it so many times. There's been little kids who we've had some a child with selective mutism.
Yeah.
And she's came onto this yard, and she's not said anything. She's just holding her mum's hand, just walking in, quite nervous, quite anxious.
Yeah.
And she'll just see a horse, and there was this one horse, and she just seen it, and she walked up to it, and that horse can be, a lot of the time, he will so frazzle.
Yes.
Frazzle a lot of the time. He doesn't really bother. He's so chill.
He takes a lot of stuff, doesn't he? He
does.
He's quite good at
But
taking stuff, bless him.
He just eats his hay, you know. Like, you can do anything with Frazzle.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't bother. But Frazzle stopped eating his hay and he turned to face her and he just stood there with her. And a lot of the time horses, or some horses, not all, but a lot of horses don't always like being petted on the face as humans would. Exactly. And this wee girl just started stroking his face, and he just stood there.
Yeah.
And he knew what she needed.
Yeah.
And he was ready to be that for her. And that was just one example, but you see that all the time with so many different types of people. You can see children coming in can have quite severe ADHD, and they can be extremely hyperactive, can't focus on one thing. And there's a horse that dysregulated, and their horse will just go up to them and they'll be exactly what that person needs.
Yeah. It's like they picked them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like do you remember Jack?
Yeah.
We had a horse called Jack, and probably should never have bought Jack. He had ring bone, side bone, every type of bone coming in his back legs.
Jack was a ex-hunter. What age was he? 17?
17.
Was he 16 when we bought him though?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
6 he had an innate sense of, we had to stop bringing him out, because if any sort of, especially males, it's an innate set of males that suffered abuse, it would just follow them. Remember the amount of, you were like, didn't bring Jack out the field today? Like, we didn't know if you've got the capacity to deal with that.
Yeah.
But he was one of them, wasn't he? But he had a type of person that he would really gravitate to, and it was males. He had the right thing. But the day we decided to put Jack to sleep before
for the winter,
and he was healthy at that point.
He was starting to struggle. He was coming in every day with different lumps on him. Different parts of him were sore, but that was okay. So he'd go out into the field, and he was quite high up in the hierarchy. He loved running about in that field. Yeah. He was such a playful horse. It was beautiful to watch. And you'd put him out, and he'd be a bit sore. We'd give him painkillers, make sure he's okay, clean any wounds. And you'd put him out in the field, and he'd have the time of his life and come in the next day sore. We'd sort him out, do the same thing, give him bute, put him out, and he'd play again. Yeah. And it was when he stopped playing, we were like, he's ready. There's no point putting him through a winter, so we gave him one last summer. But there was no point putting him through a winter. Yeah.
Do you remember, though?
He had a great last summer.
The day when, as much as I'm not going to say I do this, but I did turn up and sit in the field with my horses when I went working. I did have a glass of wine. Jack wouldn't come near me. Was it? But I don't remember, so we were all sat in the field together, and the knacker man drove down the hill and he walked to the gate.
Yeah.
And he hadn't come near us all day. It was like he knew.
He knew.
And then we did it with the herd. It was kind of something really beautiful, I think. the one thing that we can do with community here is try and change in our narratives. So something we were doing the other day is I was having conversations with a group I run with women in the justice system, and it was about, that I don't like people or I don't want to be part of the community, but actually you impact the community by not being involved because you've got no idea what's going on. So actually by removing yourself, it's still impactful. And I think the one thing with horses, and like we're always trying to say to people, isn't it, like horses give you an answer in the moment. They're not going about having a chat and like, oh, I don't like that person, or you smell, or your hair's a bit funny. It's not really like that. Their feedback is instant. And it's been really great to change narratives, isn't it? Like you talk about dysfunctional or dysregulated or, the children that really struggle, actually being able to say to them in that moment, this is what this horse is asking, or this is what it needs from you right now. It's really powerful to get someone, I suppose, into their space. And then I suppose that takes me on to thinking about, there's so many stories. I've got probably 3 things I'd like to share, and then maybe you could share some impactfulness from you. So I always remember the lady that came with early dementia.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there that day, but she was only in her 40s, and they just wanted to do something that just reminded her of, to have a conversation. And I remember her coming onto the yards and we had a session and we're filling the hay net. And she's like, oh, I remember my horse, Jack. And then we went to the stable and we took out the grooming brush and she remembered the feel. And even though it was quite a challenging session, so many memories came back and there was a lot of repetition, but actually we really remembered. And I remember her mum just being in absolute tears because her mum was older at the end of it, just giving her that experience to remember. And I suppose that's coming from a sort of medical point of view. And then I think of a young boy that we've worked with for 2 years. Look, who I can talk about on camera because used to throw stones at you and lots of other things. And
I remember trying to give the horses hay with him.
Yeah.
And we had a big hay bag and we'd pull that drag bag around and put the hay in the hay boxes. And I remember trying to do it with him. And I'd be doing it and he'd be running around. Yeah. And I'd get to the stable and be like, Luke, do you want to help me put the hay in the stables? And he'd come up and he'd get the hay and he'd shove it down the back of your top. And that was Luke.
Because he wasn't, and I remember he weren't allowed to join, he weren't allowed to go to sort of Beaver, like any sort of club. The only thing he come was here. So for a whole year, 2 years, he came here and we did lots of regulation and anger management and just community. And actually now, at the end of that year, he asked to go back to school, remember?
He asked to go back.
I want to go back. Yeah. And now he's been going on residentials, joined Scouts, like so involved in his community because he's learns how to be kind and how to have conversations. And I think because we've got the likes of, older volunteers, there's that kind of intergenerational mix. I learn a lot from adults, but I also learn a lot from the kids.
And what's really interesting with Luke as well is that, so we have another girl. Yeah. I'm going to say her name because I don't know if I can. But she is quite challenging. She's quite young still, 6 or 7, but she has had a hard life, very hard time of it, and it impacts her a lot on a day-to-day basis. And Luke and this young girl, they come in at the same time on a Friday.
They're lovely together.
And Luke she just works with her brilliantly. Sometimes he'll take her hand and they'll go and get their tack, they'll brush their pony. And sometimes this wee girl, she'll be like, I don't want to work with you today, I want to work with you. Or she'll pick and choose who she wants to be with.
It's a safety thing, because she's now able to work with more of us, because at the start it was just me, then it was you.
Yeah.
And now it's the trust from me and you to say, you can work with other people.
Yeah. She's massively become a part of the community. She's not just here to see you or me.
What about you had a really beautiful experience with it's a mother and daughter that come in together and they wanted to do something. I remember that. Because you'd had to take...
I remember there was this one lesson and I'd never worked with these people before because they were in on a day that I'm not normally in for. Yeah. and mother and daughter, and I went in and I was riding the Clydesdales. So I was on Jock, and the mother was on Major.
Yeah.
And then the daughter was on another horse. I think there was someone else in there as well. And Dani was teaching the lesson.
Yeah.
And I was working with the mother.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, even though I was in there, my job was to work with this mother, as the two Clydesdales get on very well.
Yeah.
And Major, Major and Jock, our two horses, they are brothers, and they've been born, raised, a lot of it, everything together, and they are stuck together. But Major couldn't get away from Fig, which is what the daughter was, the horse that the daughter was riding. And I was like, this isn't Major, this is the mother.
Yeah.
So I took her aside, and she was panicking a little bit because she was like, I can't get them to go this way, I can't get him to stop, I can't get him to go here. But all Major was doing was going towards Fig, so going towards her daughter. So I took her reins over the horse's head, so I had her reins, and I took her away to the side of the arena, and we just talked, because I was like, so the main point of our conversations was just, I wanted to get her focused on me.
Yeah.
Because no matter what she's saying, what she's doing, what she's trying to do, her focus is on her daughter, whether she realizes it or not.
Yeah.
And we just worked with that. And by the end, Major was going round on his own, I wasn't even there. And he didn't bat an eye at Fig anymore.
Yeah.
And it was all about her learning, because they came there wanting to do something together.
Yeah.
But the mother she wasn't being her own person in that space.
Yeah.
She was trying to be one with her daughter.
Yeah.
But she needs to be her own person, on her own horse, having a great time.
Yeah, and it's that psychological safety, isn't it? Because, you can tell someone they're safe, but actually they need to feel safe before they can step out of it. You can tell someone all the time, you're safe, but if you can't feel it, and that was that moment to go away and say, actually. And then I think, when I look at you, even when I think of, all the clients, I think of, conversations I've had when we've done coaching with sort of CEOs and management. You the same. There's always been a conversation, especially when we did that networking day.
Yeah.
Where we had to get everyone to communicate. There were 24 professionals there from sort of HR, business backgrounds, community groups, and remember the lady that stood up first was the one that stood up and actually communicated effectively was the lady that stood up and went, I'm scared. Yeah. Remember with Jem?
Yeah. So this lady, she was a bit scared of horses, and she'd said that since the very start. Yeah. She was out there, she was open, I am scared of horses. Yeah. And we said to her, we worked with that, it was, you don't have to be confident around horses or know what you're doing around horses to communicate with them.
Or to learn from
them. Yeah. Learn how to share the leadership.
Yeah.
And there was an exercise that the whole team was doing, not all of us, not all 24, but there was 5 or 6?
I think there's about 8 or 9 in each group.
8 or 9. And they were trying to get these horses to move forward together, but without pulling on them, without pushing them, just trying to move these horses as a group, as a team.
Yeah.
And they were trying, and I think a couple minutes in, this lady stood up and went, we don't know what we're doing, it's not working.
Yeah.
And that's when we were like, that's what we need. You need someone to step up and say, this isn't working. You can try all you want, but it might not be working.
Yeah.
And then everyone learned how to communicate.
It's the same with Jock, wasn't it? The other group. And in that group, there was a man, and everyone, and it's actually our vet, he won't mind us saying, but everyone was looking to him as if he was the one that was going to take charge. And that actually really kind of threw him out in front, didn't it? And then I remember one of them said, I think we're all walking too fast, because Jock was like, what are you lot doing, man? I can't keep up with you. It was just a really interesting concept. And it took for everyone to stop holding accountability on the person who does step out in front. He's a business owner, and I think within the group there are business owners, but it was someone else in the group that said, we're kind of just forgetting about this guy, Jock. He was like, I remember he just was like, I'm not even with you lot until somebody listens to me. And then I remember at the end of that, we did the feedback, and they said, we came as individuals and we left as a community, and there were 24 people that had never met each other, and it had rained all day. And Kat from America was like,
weather was so bad.
no way are we going to pull this off. And I was like, yeah, we are, Kat. I know it's really hot where you are. I can remember in the morning with the marquee had blown down. And we're trying to get it going. So
I was out picking that field at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Yes, I suppose for me, and again, learning from the horses is ESR really sort of shows that diversity is much needed, well, is needed before unity. It's impossible to unify without being diverse. And that's what a community is. And within those communities, there might be different things going on, but we all stand for the same thing. We're all human beings on planet Earth. What do you think horses teach people about community?
Community, I feel that horses teach us that they do have a general hierarchy. There will always be horses, specific horse will generally be higher up or generally lower down. But when it comes down to it, if you have a field full of horses, the lowest in the pecking order, if you want to call it that, if that horse moves in a way that tells the other horses that they're in danger, there will be no one that hesitates for a second. They move together, they listen to each other, no matter what the hierarchy, no matter what we think of each other. They
community
listen,
is shared, isn't it?
They share that leadership. If one horse suddenly decides, I need to take leadership of this herd to keep us all safe, there's not a horse, they won't hesitate for a second.
At Eat, Sleep, Ride, our entire model is rooted in biomimicry. Just as horses share leadership and take turns resting, we believe in community care, resilience, and interdependence. Nature teaches us how to lead, listen, and thrive. Our off-grid site, built on our reclaimed landfill site, mirrors this philosophy. Powered by the sun, permaculture, sensory gardens, bewilded spaces, every aspect of ESR is designed to regenerate. And at the heart of it all are the young people that we support. Because they are the next generation of land stewards, change makers, and leaders. They deserve the spaces to grow, belong, and shape their own futures. Young people don't just find healing here, they lead it. Eat, Sleep, Ride is more than just a place. It's a movement grounded in community, nature, and hope.